LinkedIn ads get called expensive a lot, usually by people who haven't actually run the numbers. In this video, I'm going to break down the real cost, the budget you actually need to start, and the one mistake that makes LinkedIn ads 5 times more expensive than they ever need to be. I'll also be showing you why people tend to measure LinkedIn wrong, and why the companies that seem to be everywhere on your LinkedIn feed might not actually be spending as much as you think. Let's get into it. Look, I get asked every week, oh, how much does LinkedIn ads cost? And it's that annoying answer of it depends. There's lots of data around like industry benchmarks and averages from different markets, but that's the point. They are just averages. And the actual nuances behind your campaign, such as audience sizing, job title targeting, seniority levels, as well as the quality of your ads, can make a huge difference in the results you're going to see. For instance, UK average cost per click on LinkedIn can cost between £4 to £12 per click. This is heavily dependent on your industry. Legal and financial services pay premium rates. More competition, more expensive audience they are targeting. If you're interested in seeing the context and drilling down into the full picture across cost per leads, cost per clicks, click-through rates for a bunch of different industries and also by different ad formats, I've got a full benchmarking study that's up to date for 2026 in the link and in the description below. The thing is, you can look at all the numbers, but they sort of don't mean that much without the context. If you're paying 20 quid per click, but it's resulting regularly in £50,000 contracts, that is a bargain. So if you don't want to hear me waffle on about like the nuances, how to make better LinkedIn ads and how to get this working with your business, the honest answer in 30 seconds is if your customer lifetime value exceeds about £2,000 or $2,000, LinkedIn ads are probably worth it. Oh, and obviously if you're targeting a B2B audience, otherwise I'm not sure why you're watching this video. The higher your customer lifetime value, the more margin and the more wiggle room you have to acquire customers profitably. The great thing about LinkedIn ads is how super specific you can get with your audience targeting and spend your budget on the actual people you transact with as opposed to people that do not matter to you. You can start from as low as 500 quid a month, and if you focus on tight audiences and don't scattergun it with loads of different formats or different experiments, you can probably get decent results. More on that later in the video where I'll walk you through that £500 budget, what to do. So people might disagree with me, but I think LinkedIn ads is worth it if your customer lifetime value exceeds £2,000, and that's customer lifetime value, not just a one-off purchase. You're targeting specific job titles at specific companies. Your buyers are B2B professionals who use LinkedIn. You have other marketing driving traffic, whether that's SEO, Google Ads, your outbound sales, conferences, exhibitions, whatever it might be. And you can commit to £500 a month or more and 6 to 8 weeks patience whilst you work out the platform and the platform works out you and your business. And honestly, I'd say LinkedIn ads is not worth it if customer lifetime value is below £1,000. You're selling B2C or very, very low ticket products without any sort of upsell afterwards. Your buyers aren't likely to be on LinkedIn. If you need leads immediately this week and you don't have any huge retargeting data to pull off, and your budget's under 500 quid a month, that's not enough really to learn, get any statistical data back. You'll be running on less than £20 a day on weekdays only, and you're better off putting some hard graft in until you can get some more budget by doing the more free tactical stuff like DMs, organic, just getting out there and getting more clients in. Here's why customer lifetime value matters more than just deal size. I've said customer lifetime value a lot in this video already, but that's because it's the most important thing behind this video and behind working out your numbers and if LinkedIn ads is worth it for you. Because if someone says, oh, LinkedIn only works if you're making over £5,000 a deal, it misses the point entirely. What actually matters is the total revenue a customer makes you over the entirety of your relationship. Think about it. A £500 a month retainer over 3 years is worth more than a 10k one-off project. That's where LinkedIn's slightly higher cost per click versus more broad things like meta advertising really pay off in the long game. If you do not know your customer lifetime value, even if it's just an estimate, pause this video, look up at the screen now and work out on a piece of paper what that is. Again, there's loads of like nuances and differences, whether what percentage of people stay with you years, what percentage of people stay with you months, how many times they transact with you, but you should be able to get a rough estimate. Effectively, the higher your customer lifetime value, the more aggressive you can be. The thing you've got to think about as well is don't treat every marketing channel in isolation. They're all working together to ultimately get you more leads, more deals, more revenue, right? And that halo effect of the channels working together, more touch points, more impressions, convincing and nudging your potential leads into actually getting in touch with you, booking a call, reminding them you exist, and convincing them you're the best people for the job, that's marketing. And think of LinkedIn like a really targeted, very bold, and very persistent wingman. Even your best sales rep might walk into a room full of strangers where nobody knows them, it can feel a bit cold, it can feel a bit awkward, and every conversation starts from zero. Even if they're incredible at closing, even if they're the best pitcher ever, they still start from zero, they still start from cold, and they still have to warm that prospect up. But now imagine they've walked in and that wingman's been working the room for weeks, months. They've heard about your offer, they've heard about that testimonial and client case study from Bob 6 months ago. They've seen your reviews, social proof all over their timeline. They've been on your website about 5 or 6 times in the past few months. And they know you deeply understand their problems and what they need solving. That's LinkedIn ads as well. It's effectively a wingman making every deal you close that much easier. And it doesn't just wingman your sales team. If you're already running things like Google ads, you can see a huge uplift in conversion rates on your Google ads as well as your LinkedIn ads performing as well. And honestly, if you're paying for Google ads and you're not running retargeting on LinkedIn or meta advertising, you're wasting money. Why would you not be spending 10-20% of that budget on the people that clicked your Google ads in the first place, come and visit your contact form, pricing page, whatever it might be, and haven't converted, by getting them back in and reminding and nudging them and making sure they know you exist and converting them over the line? That same concept of retargeting people who are already interested in your business, because honestly, if you're watching this video, you likely work for a boring, or I hate to say it, unsexy, niche B2B business where no one's on your website for a laugh, they haven't discovered you at random. They're probably interested in using your product or service and they're evaluating you right now against 5 to 6 other potential vendors they found on Google or recommended, saw on LinkedIn, saw wherever. If you're the one B2B business in your niche, weird, specific, boring industry that's retargeting the people that are doing that initial evaluation, you are going to win more deals and you are going to dominate your industry very quickly online. So if you've been doing SEO for the last 5-6 years, paying an agency or someone in-house, slaving away on writing articles, doing all the back-end stuff, and you're not retargeting, start doing it. If you've got any sales team that's sending outbound emails, cold emails or DMs on LinkedIn or even on the phones, or walking around at conferences trying to strike up conversations, make their job easier by running LinkedIn ads to those exact companies, and those cold emails look less like spam and start to appear more familiar, more trustworthy, and more relevant. And it's not just about impressions for impressions' sake and just getting extra touch points. It's about making sure those impressions are visible to the exact right people. Think about it. When a CFO of a company you've been targeting for weeks, months, maybe even years, and haven't quite gotten around to actually sorting out that meeting or that call that you've talked about in emails 18 months ago, when they see your ads multiple times a week, that's priceless. Each impression builds familiarity and trust with your business. And especially if you're using people in the ads, it builds trust with those individual people that they'll be transacting and talking with, and hopefully working with in the future. So when those emails or DMs land, it lands differently. And if you're selling bigger enterprise projects or with larger buying committees, LinkedIn can let you reach the entire buying committee and test out which messages work best for individuals, not just the person who fills out that form to book in the first call. And look, B2B purchase cycles and sales cycles can be very long. If you're using LinkedIn retargeting all throughout that process, you're going to become unforgettable, unlike potentially the other vendors they're talking to. Also, it can shorten that sales cycle significantly by getting more touch points and convincing, nurturing the prospect over the line much quicker than if they just hear from you. Very initial call and some whiny, pathetic chaser emails like, have you had time to look at this, please? And the best thing about it is it's precision without waste because of how super specific you can be on layering different job titles, seniority, and then filtering that down by the exact companies you want to reach or the people that have been on your website before. But here's where I'm going to let you into a bit of a secret and address the elephant in the room. And it's why a lot of people are disappointed and frustrated when they test and experiment LinkedIn ads. Recently, I audited an account which has spent around £15,000 over 4 months and had very, very little to show for it. It took me about 10 seconds though to diagnose the problem and see the very obvious issue. Every single ad was boring, pointless, vague, overly corporate. It could have been any company advertising any business or service. And it's the bane of my life is seeing the same stock photos of people smiling, shaking hands in an office. What does that mean? Like in reality, they weren't actually paying for LinkedIn ads. They were just shoving money down the drain because their ads were so boring, no one even bothered to stop scrolling and look at them. And that's the uncomfortable truth, is LinkedIn ads are really, really expensive and probably not worth it if you create boring ads that no one looks at. You're going to be paying through the nose for every single click and eventually every single impression and times that comes up on a timeline, because LinkedIn's going to go, these ads aren't performing, we're going to charge this advertiser more because it's not creating a good experience for our users, and we don't want to bore them, we don't want to piss them off. And with just a bit of like creative effort and not being afraid to step outside of the comfort zone and maybe not look like a business talking to a business, we help them go from a 0.2% click-through rate, which is quite bad, to a click-through rate of closer to 2% with just an unexpected ad format that grabbed people's attention and ultimately was focused on their target audience's pain points and problems, because they care about themselves and their issues. They don't care about your business and your business's history. Same exact audience, same website, same business. But we're looking at 10 times the amount of traffic for a similar spend, and because the ads were actually better in getting any clicks at all, those leads were coming in regularly. So if your ads are boring, you could be paying 5 to 10 times more for every single click, if you even get any clicks. So please, a little checklist for you on screen now. Avoid generic stock imagery of handshakes and people in a meeting room smiling together. Avoid corporate waffle and word salad and talking about solution, synergy and innovation all the time. It doesn't really mean anything. If you can, putting in a specific claim, number or proof point helps massively, even if it's just like a tiny little sentence about the number of customers you've helped or an individual customer that you help go from X to Y. Humans like numbers and the social proof behind it, and seeing that someone else worked with this business, took the decision, didn't get fired, and it worked out well for them, so there's less risk on their part for making that same decision and hiring this company. Social proof works, that's why loads of websites have their reviews, 5 stars, testimonials all over it. But you don't need an overly polished, boring testimonial video, again, of someone sitting down in their office, smiling, talking through a long-winded thing of saying, yeah, we work with them. What I want you to take away is your creative quality directly determines the cost you're paying for your LinkedIn advertising. If you do not invest the time and effort and energy into creating scroll-stopping ads, you'll be paying the boring tax forever. There's a few links in the description where I share with you some creative frameworks, exercises, and tips of how to make sure your ads are not boring. Just because you're a B2B business does not mean you need to be boring. I think another thing people need to realise is you don't need £3,000, £5,000, £10,000 a month to start and make an impact for your business. Here's a strategy I would use if I only had £500 a month to test LinkedIn ads. Right, so what I'd do is I'd set the budget for £20 a day on one campaign, one audience, weekdays only. Run things Monday to Friday when LinkedIn's at its busiest, at its peak. Some people let ads run over the weekend, and some get great results from it. But again, this is about hitting that £500 a budget and making it the most effective, efficient ad spend possible. You want to focus on one tight audience. Whether that's uploading a company list from your CRM and then layering specific job titles you transact with, or even website retargeting, so the people who've hit your website in the last 30, 90, 180 days, again with those job title filters. Do not do broad prospecting until you've proven results with these warmer audiences and much more specific audiences. If what I've just said around uploading lists from your CRM, you're like, how the hell do I do that? There's a full guide in the description how to do that. And again, if you want to do retargeting of your website visitors, which you definitely do, the issue you might be facing if you're brand new and a beginner to this is you do not have the tracking in place for LinkedIn to create that audience yet. There is another full guide in the description to setting up this tracking end to end and making it easy as possible for you. It's even got like a copy and paste AI prompt which will interview you about your setup, whether you're using Squarespace, WordPress, a custom site, where your domain's registered, what you've already got in terms of Google Analytics, what your actual conversion actions you want to record are, and help you set that up on Google Tag Manager like a pro, and saving you probably about $2,500 from these GTM experts that charge through the roof for something that now is accessible for you to do by yourself. Can be a bit fiddly, but really worth doing. What I recommend on this tight ad budget is stick to one ad format. And probably for beginners, it's going to be single image ads because they're going to be the easiest to test. You could also get results with message ads, which are the ones that go to your LinkedIn inbox. Again, people like to hate on DMs on LinkedIn, but they do work. And ultimately, it's a numbers game. And also, a lot of people send really shit, really boring, really like long-winded and pointless message ads for things that nobody wants. But look, your business is great, right? You know your customers are going to benefit from working with you, whether it's your product or service. and they might just need a personal nudge, a personal reminder at the right time landing in their inbox. You could use video ads if you're confident to put together a decent video. It doesn't need to be highly polished, doesn't need to be overly produced by an expensive production team. It can just be your iPhone with a strong, confident sales team member running through the perfect sales pitch. But realistically, single image ads with a scroll stopping concept is probably your best bet for a beginner. Don't scatter across ad formats until you've got some ideas that work, because ultimately the way LinkedIn works at the minute is you've got to create separate ad sets for each individual ad format, and that adds to your cost and minimizes effectiveness. We're on about laser precision here. Within 3 to 4 weeks, you should have a good amount of data and a good indication of if your ads are shit, if your targeting's shit, or maybe if your offer is bad and your website that you're guiding to or the landing page doesn't convert very well. But often, it doesn't take a lot of hard work and tweaks to start getting this right and keep on improving iteratively week on week and start getting more leads more often for your business. If you're still unsure, run the exact numbers yourself. I've made a LinkedIn ads cost calculator that will tell you roughly and give you a good estimate of how much LinkedIn ads will cost for your business. This is based on those benchmarks I said before. This accounts for variables such as your landing page quality, your offer quality, how good your copy is, how good your creative is, as well as your specific industries and the job titles and seniorities you're going after. So give it a go. So hopefully that's answered your burning question of, are LinkedIn ads going to be worth it for my business? And to recap, make sure you know your customer lifetime value and think of ways you can keep improving and driving that higher. And do not make shitty, boring ads, please. If you're really struggling for ideas or concepts behind making your boring, unsexy business a bit more scroll stopping, a bit more creative, a bit more interesting, pop your business's website in the comments below and I'll give you 3 free tailored ad ideas for your exact business. And if you're watching this saying, oh, I'm desperate to try LinkedIn ads, but I'm just unsure of managing it in-house and I don't want to fuck it up and make all the mistakes that a lot of beginners make, let an expert handle the work for you. Because LinkedIn ads are powerful, but they're also very easy to get wrong. There's loads of mistakes that beginners often make, and I've got another video around that which should be on the screen right now to help you not make those mistakes as a beginner. But if you're busy doing the actual job and getting those sales over the line, delivering your product or service, and you want to skip that learning curve, we'll build your campaigns from day one with the right creatives, the right targeting, and get you more leads more often, and there's a link in the description to book your call. Hope you've enjoyed the video. See you soon. Cheers. Bye.